Yes, hello. Racism is about wealth, control, and power. Hard to believe? No, it's not hard to believe. I'll make a reference. Did you know that Christopher Columbus sold white slaves before he sold black slaves? Did you know that? If racism was about color, or rather if racism was really about racism and color, then why would you pick up slaves and take people with you on a boat that you don't really want to be with? You know what I mean? Why would you, if it was really about color, then why would you go and have a whole boatloads of people and take them to where you stayed, to lands that you're going to live in? The truth about slavery is that slavery was about economics, production. That's what slavery was about. And racism ended up being a human resource management tactic. Now note that during the slave trade there were both white slaves and black slaves. Now what happened was the white slaves were not treated like the black slaves. So the white slaves were the one that were given privileges, they were given better positions, decent places to stay, and they were treated decently. The reason why they were treated like that was to cause division amongst the slaves, so that the slaves do not come together and unite and take over the farm. For example, how would one man with a wife and maybe 2 kids run a field of 1,000 people? How would you run a field of 100 slaves? They might turn against you. But it becomes very easy if you divide the people. So there are privileges for those who are white, the white slaves. There are privileges for those who are light in complexion, the previous. And then all the, with the black slaves, there used to be privileges depending on different shades, various shades, more than just 2 shades. You'll have the very light ones, the yellow ones, the brownish ones, the light reddish brown ones have different privileges, and the dark reddish brown would have different privileges. But basically what I want to say is that racism is about wealth, economics, and power. You have to understand that, and understand that it is a way, it's just a way of dividing people. Now, the way forward. What's the way forward? One, what I'd like to advise, especially black people, is that just ignore people who told you about your race. Just know who you are. Be confident about who you are. That's why I do series about Africans' origins of civilization. Be confident who you are. We Africans, we used to be originators of civilizations. We used to run the world at a certain point in time, and things happen. Things happen, and that's where we are right now. And a lot of deception has been used to mislead us into thinking ill of ourselves. But once you find yourself, just find yourself, be happy with yourself. Don't try to prove a point to anyone. Secondly, if somebody calls you a dog, that won't make you a dog. So you shouldn't entertain insults from people. However, you should keep your eye on the prize. You must understand that this is about economics, this is about power. So you have to start now looking and focusing upon power, empowering yourself, freeing yourself from economic slavery. You have to free yourself from the idea of being a slave for money, working for a paycheck. You have to start developing revenues of income, sources of income. You have to start making money from royalties. You have to start making money from inventions, from writing whatever, from literature or whatever it is. We have to start having better ways of making money. So basically what I mean is we have to start coming up with ways of setting ourselves free from economic bondage. That's what we need to look at. There's a verse in the Bible that says money answers all things. The reason I believe that somehow the reason why the verse says that is because if you understand the motive behind a lot of things that happen, or behind all things that happen, you just trace the money. One example I'll give you is that one of the basic rules of engagement, rather rules of war, military rules, is that you never go into a war unless there are resources to be gained. That's something that is basic, that every general should know, that you don't go into war unless rules. If you don't believe me, go read the book. It's called Art of War, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. You never go into war because somebody said something bad about you, or you're upset about this or something. No. You go to war for gain. So basically that book just puts it plain that Look, war is about what? Resources and power and wealth. So everything else is about wealth. So stop focusing on what people are taunting you. You know. So that's what the slave masters want you to do. They want us to taunt each other, waste time taunting each other about race. Yeah, you're black, I'm white, and you're black, white, this, that. You know, that's a waste of time. You're playing the game. You're playing the division game. Rather focus on what you're called to do. Focus on what you should be doing. You know. By the way, if you look at it within context, the name slave actually meant servant. You know, and today's name or today's word for servant is actually employee. So basically, 100 years from now, our great-great-grandchildren will be looking at us as people who were slaves, as employees. And if you can look, you know, being an employee rather is something in your heart tells you that somehow you are not free. So you need to be free. So basically, what I'm saying is that we need to develop ways of empowering ourselves. These are the reasons why I'm teaching about finding ways, or I'm trying to get us to communicate and exchange ideas about finding ways to liberate ourselves economically. Bottom line is that keep your eyes on the prize and liberate yourself economically. You will be free, and mentally, of course, because economics, you can't have economics if your mind is not right. You'll understand all of that if you check my series out. I dealt with your spirit, your soul, and your body. In order for you to be productive, you have to heal yourself inside first. You have to understand, you have to believe that you can do it. You have to understand your purpose and your reason for existence. You have to fill your head with knowledge, and you have to have strategies. Then after filling your head with knowledge, then you can execute and implement things that you need to do. So until next time, cheerio.